Hello friends, welcome to our channel. This is our first lecture on RCC. This name indicates what is RCC. RCC stands for Reinforced Cement Concrete. Reinforced Cement Concrete, okay, RCC. So today generally I will discuss about the basic thing related to the Reinforced Cement Concrete. So first of all, we have to know what code is generally used for RCC structure. That is the IS 456 for RCC, and for pre-stress IS 1343 generally used. Okay, these two codes are basically used, IS 456 and IS 1343. Okay, so first of all I will discuss about the materials. So for RCC, what materials are generally needed or used? First, concrete. Okay, so concrete is nothing but it is the mixture of cement, sand and aggregate. Okay, so sometimes admixture is also used. Okay. So in short, materials which are used, that is the concrete. So concrete is nothing but it is a mixture of cement, sand and aggregate. Sometimes admixture is also used. Okay, so now why concrete is generally used? So in RCC, concrete is used and steel is also used. So I'll discuss about steel in later. Okay, so today I'll discuss generally about concrete. Okay, so why concrete is used? Because concrete is strong in compression, okay, and weak in tension. That's why concrete is used. So in short, concrete is strong in compression and weak in tension. Okay, so generally in RCC, steel reinforcement is provided to take tension. Okay, to take tension. So steel take tension and concrete take compression. Okay, so now basic of concrete. So first thing related to concrete is grade. We know that generally we can see M15, M10, M20. So what does it mean by M15, M10, M20? Generally in this configuration, M represents mix and this number represents characteristic strength. Okay, characteristic strength. Now question is, what is characteristic strength? And it is denoted by FCK. So we have to know what is characteristic strength. Suppose we are taking 5 cubes. Okay, so I will discuss about cubes later. Okay, suppose we are taking 5 cubes. So if 95% of cube having the strength greater than FCK, then FCK is said to be characteristic strength. Okay, so 95% of the cube should have the should have the strength greater than FCK. Okay, if 95% of cubes are strength greater than FCK, then we shall tell then we will tell that this strength is characteristic strength. Okay, so 95% of cube strength should be 95% of cube strength should be greater than FCK. So if we take 5 sample, 90% of the sample should have the strength greater than FCK. Suppose we are taking 5 sample. If 95% of samples have the strength greater than 10, okay, and 5% have the strength less than 10, then we shall tell that 10 is the characteristic strength of this 5 sample. Okay, now how to test cube? Okay, how to test cube? So we generally take a cube size specified by 150 mm by 150 mm. Okay, 150 mm by 150 mm cube is generally. So we generally take 6 cubes. 6 number of cubes we generally take, and 3 is tested for 3 cubes are taken for tested 7 days characteristic strength. And 3 cubes are taken for 28 days characteristic strength, and for 7 days characteristic strength should be how much? 75% of the, at 7 days the strength should be 70% of characteristic strength, and at 28 days it will be 99% of FCK. Okay, so in cube test generally I will discuss how to test cube. In cube test generally 6 samples are taken and 3 samples are tested for 7 days, and 3 samples are taken tested for 28 days. Okay, in 7 days we will get 70% of FCK, and in 28 days we will get 99% of FCK. So in short, in case of RCC, materials used concrete and steel. So concrete is nothing but is the mixture of cement, sand and aggregate. Sometimes admixtures are used. Okay, so and concrete is why concrete is used, because concrete is strong in compression and it is weak in tension, and steel is strong in tension and steel can take both tension as well as compression. So generally in RCC concrete take compression and steel take tension. Okay, so now next, grade. Generally this number M15, M10, M20, it denotes M for mix and 20 is the characteristic strength of FCK, and the characteristic strength of FCK is nothing but 95% of the cube strength. If greater than FCK, then we will tell that FCK is characteristic strength of that samples. Okay, So for cube test, we generally take a cube of specified size 150 by 150 mm, and we test it in the machine of UTM. Okay, universal testing machine. Okay, UTM, universal testing machine. In UTM we generally test for cube's strength. Okay, so after making cube, we generally immersed it in full water. So how to curing? So after preparation of the cube, we have to cure it. So curing procedure is immersed in water at a temperature 27 plus minus 2 degrees Celsius. Okay, and relative humidity RA should be 100%. Okay, relative humidity should be 100%. Okay, now I will discuss about some grade of concrete and their proportion. M10, for M10 proportion is 1:3:6. M15, that is the 1:2:4, and M20 1:1.5:3, and M25 1:1:2. Okay, here first one denotes for cement, and 3 denotes for sand, and 6 stands for stone or aggregate. Okay, now here M10, M20. So how to prepare this? Generally, in case of M10, M20, and generally nominal mixing is used. Okay, so there are two types of mixing. Number one is nominal mix, and number two is mixed design. So up to M20 we generally take up to M20 we take nominal mix. Okay, nominal mix. Okay, and greater than M25 we generally design it, that is called mixed design. So for M10, M20 we can if we can proportionate it in this way, for M10, that is the 1:3:6. If we take 1 bag of cement and 3 bags of sand and 6 bags of stone, then we can prepare the M10 concrete. But in case of M25 or greater than, we cannot say based on our experience. So what is nominal mix? Nominal mixing is nothing but the mix proportion based on experience. So nominal mix is based on experience. But if we take M25 concrete or greater M25, then we have to design it based on what type of sand we are using, so what type of aggregate we are using, so, and what amount of water cement ratio we are using in this mixing. So that's why greater than M25 concrete, so we have to design the concrete. Okay, I will discuss later about the mixed design. Okay, so now I will tell how to find out the correct strength of a cube in case of UTM, universal testing machine. So in UTM, a cube is placed in the machine, and compressive load is placed gradually on the specimen. Okay, now what will be the load? Suppose we are testing for M25 concrete. So what will be the load value? So generally in case of M25, so characteristic strength is nothing but FCK equals to 25 Newton per mm square. Okay, so what will be the load value? For M25 concrete? We know that stress equals to force by area. Okay, so now so force will be, P will be F stress 25 into what will be the area? We know that cube is 150 mm by 150 mm, so area will be a 150 into 150. So this mass load, it will be in Newton. So this mass load is then needed for M25 concrete. Okay, now I will discuss about graph of characteristic strength and the mean strength of concrete. So suppose I am taking 200 number of cubes, and I am plotting this value. Suppose, so this x-axis and it is the y-axis, and its y-axis, and it represents the frequency of number of cubes, and it's represents the strength. Okay, strength. So if I take 50 numbers of cubes and I plot their strength, so definitely I will get a graph in this way. Okay, this type of graph I will obtain, so from the plotting of the number of cubes and strength. So this strength at point peak value, so this strength is known as the mean strength of concrete, that is the FM, mean strength. Okay, and this mass strength, so 95% of cubes for the strength, which will be the 95% of the cube strength, is nothing but FCK. So here it will be FCK, and their difference is 1.65, and it is known as standard deviation, that is denoted by sigma. So relation between the mean strength and a characteristic strength and standard deviation will be FM to FCK plus 1.65 into sigma. This is the relation between the mean strength and standard deviation of the concrete. So now, as per IS 456, so there are some standard deviation for some specific grade of concrete. For M10 and M15, standard deviation is 3.5. For M10, M15 standard deviation is 3.5. M20 and M25 standard deviation is 4, and M30 to M50 standard deviation is 5. So we have to remember it. Okay, for M10, M50, for M10 and M15 standard deviation will be 3.5. For M20 and M25 standard deviation will be 4, and from M30 to M50 standard deviation will be 5. Okay, standard deviation will be 5. Okay, so we have to remember it. Now next topic is acceptance criteria of cube. How much cube I have prepared, whether that is acceptable or not. So there are some guidelines. Okay, so we have to fulfill that guidelines to accept this cube. Okay, so First one is average strength. And the second one is the individual strength. Okay, so first criteria I am telling for individual strength. Okay, so for M15 concrete, okay, for M15 concrete, individual strength should be greater than FCK minus 3. That means individual strength must be greater than, if it is M15, that will be 15 minus 3, that means 12. If it is less than 12, then my cube will not be valid. That means it will not be accepted. Okay, for M20, it should be greater than FCK minus 4. That means it will be 20 minus 4, that means value will be 16. So if individual strength of number of cubes, suppose I am taking 6 cubes, okay, if individual strength of cubes are for M20 concrete is less than 16, then it will not be acceptable. Okay, now it was the case 1. Now in case of case 2, average strength. Okay, so average strength for M15 concrete should be, it is a case 2. So average strength for M15 concrete will be greater than equals to maximum of FCK plus 0.825 times of sigma, or FCK plus 3. Okay, and for M20 should be greater than maximum of FCK plus 0.825 times of standard deviation, or FCK plus 4. Okay, so accepted criteria for cube is, for in case of individual strength for M15 concrete, individual strength should be greater than FCK minus 3, and for M20 individual strength should be FCK minus 4. Okay, and in case of if we if we judge on basis of average strength, then for M15 concrete the value will be, average strength will be maximum of FCK plus 0.825 times of standard deviation, or FCK plus 3. Okay, and for M20 it will be maximum of FCK plus 0.825 standard deviation, or FCK plus 4. Okay, now in India generally cube is used to cube test. Okay, but in US cylinder is used for test. Okay, now in case of cylinder characteristic, so strength is 80% of cube strength. Okay, so cylinder strength is 80% of cube strength. That means cylinder strength is less due to the slenderness ratio of the cylinder. Okay, so in case of cylinder, slenderness ratio is more as compared to that of the cube. That's why in case of cylinder the strength, compressive strength will be less. Okay, now one thing, if we take a cube of 450 mm by 450 mm, so what will be the characteristic strength of this cube? Okay, generally characteristic strength is based on a standard size of cube 150 mm by 150 mm. So what will be the value of the FCK if we used 450 mm cube in despite of 150 mm cube? So if we replace 150 mm cube by 450 mm cube, so what will be the characteristic strength? So characteristic strength will be reduced, and it will be, so we have to use the correction factor of 0.67. okay, so we have to multiply the value by this factor 0.67, and if we multiply it by 0.67, so we will get the characteristic strength of this cube having dimension 450 mm by 450 mm. Okay, now it is a cube strength. So flexural strength of concrete FCR is given by 0.7 root over FCK, and direct tensile strength is also have, and split tensile strength. We'll discuss all this type of strength in later. Okay, so now I will discuss about the classification of concrete as per IS 456. So from M10 to M20, it is ordinary concrete. Okay, ordinary concrete. Okay, so it is classification based on IS 456 classification. Okay, so and now M25 to M55, it is standard concrete. And greater than M60, it is known as high strength concrete. Okay, high strength concrete. Okay, so guys, these are the classification of concrete based on IS 456. From M10 to M20, it is classified as ordinary concrete, and from M25 to M55, it's standard concrete, and from M60 or sorry, greater than M60, the concrete is known as high strength concrete. Okay guys, thank you. So in my next lecture I will discuss more about the RCC. Okay, thank you.